So, hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm also, or again, as the few last episodes, I'm pretty sorry that I may not sound that good today. But you know what? This is what, makes me some kind of happy. And, why shouldn't I do this? The thing is, most of the people will tell me, just lay in bed and chill and so on. But the thing is, I can't do that. I'm not the person for just chilling around and doing nothing and laying around all day long. I like producing stuff. And just, if you know yourself and if you're that self aware, um, you know what you need and you know what makes you happy. And at my point of view, your psychological or just mental health and physical health is pretty correlated. You know, or always see it if or when I'm not that healthy in terms of my physics. I tend to get, a little bit sadder in general and so on and so on, which, but the other way around, then you can see that if I just do what I really love, I will get healthy in both ways. So if I am healthy in my mental state, so when I'm doing things I like or love or whatever, then um, I can also be healthy in my physical state. But enough talking. We had on to the last episode of the 30 triggers by Joe Sugarman or Zuckerman or Zagerman or whatever he is called. And yeah, for the things we've discussed the last episodes, I wish you to just check them out. There may all be the links down in the description to to the podcast itself and or the YouTube channel if you wanna watch the YouTube version or the video version of it. And yeah, but we will go on there. When selling, whether in print or TV or in personal selling situation, recognize that there is a very large segment of the population who, for whatever reason, has an emotional need to collect a series of similar products. Which in terms of collecting things is always the same. You might collect coins, which is, not that unfamiliar. You can collect, I don't know, there's so much crazy people who collect nearly everything. It's it's crazy, yeah. Um, but I think, and I think told about this or talked about this, also in the last episode, is that I think that it's just our human nature to collect things that are maybe not similar, but in general collect things because in our early days we just needed things. We just needed the wood to make a fire. We just needed to look for deer or hunt deer or just look for berries and so on and collect them so that we can exist. I think that's our human nature, some sort of, some sort of. One of the ways the direct marketers optimize sales via the collecting instinct is by first sending free of charge with the very first shipment some sort of device to hold the collection. So it's by first sending free of charge with the very first shipment. Some sort. I don't know if this means that you should basically send them free stuff. So like, which is I think always some kind of good idea because if you just send out free stuff and it's actually a good product, which leads to the thought that, and also something I want to say is that if you have a really shitty product, the best marketing can't do anything. If your product is shit, you can't market it as good. You can, but you will not make that many sales because your product. I'm sorry, your product is not good. I just have to go a little bit like this that I'm in the middle. If your product is shit, then yeah, you can't really market it or not that good. Um, but by sending out your product, which is then or should be good, you just let them have a look at it and just tell them that there is actually your product and your product is good and this is the solution for the problem and so on. And yeah, but I think in terms of shipment, that they start collecting your products because you have free shipping, which is often quite expensive. But yeah, I hope I got that some kind of right, or it's also for me important to give you some thoughts and just tell you what I am thinking about. That maybe you can use my thought and think ahead with my thought, so that you get not only your thoughts, and then in the comment section hopefully thoughts of some other people, but also my thought, so that you have just a really big spectrum of opinions, uh, with what you can, or with it, or with what with which you can really get everything out of this texts, I hope. Just because you have sold a customer product, don't ignore the opportunity to sell them the same product again, or a new variation of the product, which is also something Amazon does, as I was telling you in the episodes before. And when you buy a product, you immediately get some variations of it, or which is definitely true. You just get, if you're buying a foam roller, you just get, so you buy it or bought, for example, a black one, then you immediately get a red one and a green one, and so on, as a suggestion. And or similar products, or products that could be combined with this product. And often you can actually see on Amazon that some products, or products that they bought with other products by other users, so that you could just take them both at the same time. Yeah. In selling, the concept of a sense of urgency involves two emotional aspects in the selling process. One is loss, or the chance of losing something, and the other is procrastination. Um, so in terms of creating the sense of urgency, um, I think if you have just a pretty great product, and you are like, this offer just lasts for the next 24 hours, and you just, create such kind of urgency to buy your product, because they think, or they know that your product is solving their problem. In terms of procrastination, which is, I'm sorry for deep L, always translate with deep L. It's, at my point of view, one of the best translators, and I'm very sorry. Procrastination. I've looked them up. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think in terms of procrastination, you just make your product and your offer that simple, and also in terms of just really destroying all the negative thoughts that could be associated with your product. So if you say, yeah, you have that money back guarantee, yeah, you have free shipping, yeah, you have I don't know, a great customer support, and so on, so that you just eliminate all the fears your customer could have, so that there is no procrastination, so that they see, yeah, you know, this product solves my problem, everything is good about it, it maybe has also a pretty great price, and so on. So these are the things I'm thinking about when I just, hear this or just read this. But yeah, always make sure there's a sense of urgency in your sales presentation, so that the prospect does not leave without you making that sale. Um, which just leads me to the thought of, or something just I want to say, is that um, in terms of this, you really have to be sure that this prospect needs your product, or it's associated with them. You can't really sell anyone something they do not need or do not want. Um, if you do not make the sale because of your shitty presentation or your shitty product, you just have to work on this. Which I think I mean this, or they mean by saying always make sure there's a sense of urgency in your sales presentations, so you do not, or you do definitely make that sale. Um, yeah, but 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 um, is there something I can say to that? yeah, I think it's just, the same as, this offer only lasts for this on-stage presentation. This offer lasts only for the next 24 minutes. If you buy this now, you just get these and these products, as bonuses and so on. Elmer Wheeler recognized that if you reached a point when your prospect says, "Let me think about it," or "Let me discuss this with my partner," chances are you have lost the sale, which is, yeah, totally true. It is critical that you make the sale and not accept a delaying tactic. Yeah, which is just, a term for what they were just explaining before, just, let me discuss this with my partner, or let me think about it. The basic concept of exclusivity is to make the prospect feel that he or she is special, that you are really allowing that prospect to buy a particular product that few people can obtain regardless of price. Which is, I'm thinking about if you just have a person and you tell them, like, because this is a pretty shitty example, but when you say, I really like you, therefore you get this bonus and you get that price and the shipping is free for you and so on. This may, make for them, just, the feeling of exclusivity. Or I was also thinking about um, having a product that really suits them or only suits them. So these kind of are persons, which, I was just thinking about my back condition. So I have, if I don't know if scoliosis is, let's see, scoliosis. I think it's not with an U, but with an O. Yeah, yeah. I have a scoliosis, and therefore, when somebody would came up to me and be like, I have this great, I don't know, pillow or mattress for you, and this is very suited for you, because of your, body conditions. Um, you this would make, or this would create some kind of feeling of exclusivity. Always make your offer simple is pretty important, and always make the buying process pretty simple, because if you just have to take 50 clicks to just get to your fucking offer because you have so much to, I don't know, um to fill out, or your signs there, and I don't know, so much things can occur, and there's just overall ads and you have to click them away. This all makes the also experience, not that good, and also, the sale itself. And the thing is, and I've shown it in the last episode, is that if you buy something on Amazon, you have to make, I think, a total of, yeah, so around, I would say, two to five clicks. It really depends on, if you just go to the website and click through all these products and so on, there may be more clicks. But if you are just like, how should I say, if you just, know what product you need and you type it in and you click one time on the product itself you want to buy, and then there is the one click buy thing, then you have only 2 clicks. So, and this is pretty simple. Realize that only after your prospect becomes your customer, sorry, I've lost that one. Realize that only after your prospect becomes your customer can you present more complicated offers and products. Which makes sense. Consider many of the creative ways to instill the feeling of guilt in your prospect. You will find you selling to be a lot easier with a perceptive buyer when you grease the way with this powerful psychological trigger. When people perceive certain general statements as puffery or typical advertising bubble, those statements are at best discounted and accepted with some doubts. In contrast, statements with specific facts can generate strong believability, which is totally true. If you just hear all the same shit again, I don't know. I do not watch that much. And just thinking, I'm always thinking about TV commercials, and or these really bad made TV commercials where they show your product, and a competitor product that's so total shit and theirs is so good, and so on. I just always have to think about them because I think it's subconsciously, and in terms of these psychological triggers and in terms of general marketing, they are pretty well because as you can see, they work. So, and you or I know that they work because they wouldn't make such commercials if they wouldn't work. And but if you just I don't know, if I look at them and just it's such a cringe in my body. It's coming up and eating me through my my gut and everything. So yeah, sorry for being that direct. But let's see. There's a great tendency to buy from somebody with whom you are familiar, which is totally true. And I think familiarity has also something to do with trust, because you wouldn't really buy something from somebody you do not trust. And this is also some of the reasons why influencer marketing is such a great thing, or such a great thing for first of all the influencers, and second of all the company who is willing to sell the product, because all these fans or followers or so on, they just really trust that person if they are just connected with them for a longer time, and they have some kind of relationship. They really trust them, and through this trust, or because of this trust, they really sell a lot to these people. I was just always thinking about if it's really that's some such a good thing, this influencer marketing thing. But I think yeah, it is. Yeah, only because I'm not buying something from any influencers or general, yeah, influencers in general. So whether on Instagram nor on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, this doesn't mean that no one else is doing that. And this is just also something you have to remember. Only because you aren't doing something, or you just think about or not think about something, or you just do that, doesn't mean that somebody else isn't doing that or should also be doing that. It's also, and this is something I actually really realized yesterday, because I was talking with someone, and she was telling me that something is not good for her, and I was being like, for me it's always good to do this and that, and then I just realized that it's good for me, yeah, but it's not good for her. So why would I tell her something that's good for me, and she exactly knows that it's not good for her? So there's no just no reason or no logical sense behind telling her this. It doesn't make any sense, because if she really knows that this is not good for her, I can tell whatever. Doesn't matter. And I hope you got what I mean. Some sort of, it's a little bit that complicating thing. Whatever you're selling with the proper credentials, you will automatically engage the power of hope, a powerful force that could motivate, inspire, and even trigger a sale. Which makes sense. Realize that often you must go with the established way of doing things in order to accomplish your goals. You've got to pattern yourself with what is working and then harmonize with the marketplace. Once you have an established reputation, it's easier to try something different than that you yourself want to do, which is totally true. If you're just really willing to sell something online, selling through, I don't know, a really new platform like, or in general, yeah, if you're really willing to sell something online and you choose a platform that's not really established and no one knows and no one pretty trusts, may not be the best idea. And just then trying or going to a platform like, I don't know, Instagram or Facebook or YouTube to sell your things or to market on may be a better idea, because these are established and these are trustworthy or trustable or whatever, and it's also easier. So often people make things way harder, and I do it as well. I make things harder and tougher as they actually are, which is a pity and not that good. But yeah, The more the mind must work to reach a conclusion which is eventually successful reaches, the more positive, enjoyable, and stimulating the experience. So the more the mind must work to reach a conclusion which is eventually successfully reaches, the more positive, enjoyable, or stimulating the experience is. Which is, is a little bit contradictive to what they, or if it's, it's pretty shit if I'm like this, sorry. If this is good. Yeah, this will good because of, you can see me a little bit better. And if I take it like this, everything is also quite fine, even though it's, I'm sorry that I have to hold the micro today, but yeah. It's a little bit contradictory if they just say before that you should always make it as simple as possible, and then they say, if it's a little bit challenging, it's good because I know why. Because people always feel, and this is something I was talking about the last episode again, or as well, and it's something from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, the book I really love, the book I should read again. But it's, people like to achieve something themselves, to look for something themselves, to create something themselves, which is just the thing they talk about here. You should make it a little bit challenging, or you should let the mind be working, because then they feel like they made the conclusion themselves. They got this information themselves, and so on, which really makes them positive and enjoyable, and it doesn't make them enjoyable, but the whole situation makes it enjoyable. And I think it's really then stimulating. Yeah. If you make your sales pitch too obvious, the prospect will feel either patronized or bored. Make the prospect think in order to come to a conclusion, and you create a very stimulating mental effect, which is, just the thing I was talking about. The more the mind must work to reach a conclusion that is eventually successful reaches, and this is just the same thing as above, and, yeah. But this was actually it with this book summary. I'm pretty happy that I got through this. Just took a little bit too long, I guess. I think it were now like 4 to 5 episodes, which is really quite long. And I have to think about if I'm doing something like this again, just really taking up so much time or not. But first of all, really thank you for going through this with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it brought you some value. And again, this is from the SamuelThomasDavis.com website. There are a lot else book summaries, and also some articles I've seen, which are also related to all these things they are talking about. So it's business, it's psychological stuff, it's remembering stuff. I sometimes feel like I remember the shittiest piece of shit, but something that's pretty important I do not really know. So psychological, self-help, business books. Let's go to this. You can always make it hard for yourself, or just pretty simple. So business, biographies, health and fitness books, leadership book summaries, philosophy, psychology, self-help, and writing book summaries. So writing book summaries seems to be, books about writing books, which, it's a little bit weird. And then there's also some annual reading lists of this persons. I hadn't really, thought through this whole thing, if these are just 3 persons or if this is 1 person. I don't know. He or they just write it as it was 1 person, it seems like, for me. But, it's 3 names, so it's a little bit, So they also have a letter. And, a newsletter, sorry. Yeah. And they have also the best books of 2018, the best books of 2017, 16, and 15. So it's a fairly big library of things. And then there's the newest book, Summer, which is Cash Verdicing, How to Use More Than 100 Secrets of Ad Agencies Psychology to Make Big Sales, Selling Anything to Anybody or to Anyone by Drew Eric Whiteman, which is from the 17th or 27th December or 27th of December 2018. But I think, and I maybe just, afterwards just see what I will discuss the next time. And for this now I have to say goodbye. I'm really happy for you to go with me through this, as I said before. And, if there's anything, just comment down below if you're on YouTube, or just, comment on any post I made on social media, or DM me, or just whatever. And I'll see you the next time. Bye.